Welcome back to Unrendered. I'm chatting with businessman Ormiston Kenboy. Ken, when we went in the break, we were discussing the airport. Now, given the cost of this project and I would say the uncertainty of being able to raise the finances, you still support it?
I support it. I support it because it would raise that level of business that we're talking about. We so badly need it. We have been an agricultural society, and I think the thing we have to depend on the future is selling the world well-being. And by well-being, I mean not just money. You know, the pleasure of being able to go to sleep without wrought iron all over your windows and things like that. We happen to have the most beautiful part of the world, which if we could do it tastefully, I'm not so sure that I believe that we need $3 million US per room, bedrooms to attract people. I think we could attract people without that. I think I've been preaching for years that our farmers, the banana farmers, when things are low, could have had 3 cottages on their farm, their 5-acre plot, their wife makes a good bed and prepares a good breakfast, and we could have had $50 a night, what I call knowledge tourism.
Okay.
People could come in to see how bananas are grown. I did a trip in the Mediterranean, and the most enjoyable part was going to places where wine was made, not to drink it, but to see how it was made. And I think you got to remember the guys who went into bananas in the 60s were our brightest and best farmers. And I think they should have grown right now to be good hosts. If a farmer in Georgetown or Barry Hill had 3 rooms that were occupied at $50 US per night, that would go a long way.
So you're saying that the international airport would
help that, because you see, one of the things,
increase access.
But one of the things that people don't realize is that in a normal aircraft, 15% are first class, 85% are economy coach. We don't get that 85%. They stay in Barbados. We might get most of the 15% going to the Grenadines. But those people are so rich, they come all the time. They don't take taxis anymore. They don't go on tours anymore.
Right.
We need that once in a 10-year tourist who would come here with backpacks. We tend to shun them. But there's more put into the economy by their sightseeing, by their tours, and without an international airport, you're not going to get that. We're going to continue boasting
about niche tourism.
About niche tourism, yes, and about how good the Grenadines, which it is. I love Mustique. Yes. I think it's but coupled to Mustique, we should have people who are doing tours, who are going on, see our interior, who want to be adventurous.
So you're advocating,
Pickman goes off a tree, and that
you're advocating that a form of mass tourism is essential.
A controlled form of mass tourism must be controlled, and the farmer must be involved. You need, okay, we can't sell our bananas, but if we brought people here to eat our bananas, we could sell a lot of bananas. The problem with us in agriculture is that everything we grow, 40% of it is water. And it's therefore hard to transport. It spoils in you send bananas, if you don't keep them right, they're rotten before they get to England.
So but on the other hand, airlifting capabilities.
Well, you could airlift some of that, but also to get a person to come and pick a banana, you hang a bunch of banana around the property where a person could just go and pick a banana from a bunch. The novelty, the feeling that they will get. And I believe that airport will lift the level of opportunities for young entrepreneurs selling craft. In Taiwan, this was a big thing. You see people selling craft. You see people painting portraits, just sitting at the airport and somebody comes out. We make money that way.
So listening to you, Ken, why do you think people are so vehemently opposed to the airport? I'm not saying everyone is. I'm saying there are people who are.
I got a feeling that 87% of our people would like an airport. They don't like the way maybe that Ralph Gonsalves is doing it, they're afraid that you're leading them into some leftist thing and the gains are not enough. But I think Ralph is cleverer than that. I don't think he thinks that any of us are going to go far left. And even the far left people, I mean, let's face it.
But what is far left in today's context, though?
Exactly. If you take a place like Venezuela, I went there with Sir James.
Yes.
First time I went to Venezuela, it was Sir James, and we went into, it's the worst poverty I'd ever seen under the former regime. Going into Caracas, people literally lived in cardboard houses. Yes. Then you go to the other side, and there was this sumptuous lifestyle.
So there was an unequal distribution of wealth.
If you were an army officer who had the thing of using a gun and gaining power, you would have done it.
Right.
I mean,
there is
you know,
support
but most
for
of the
Chavez's
leftists, I mean, I think Cuba is changing, is relaxing his ways. The economic system has to be private enterprise. But if we don't do it voluntarily in being our brother's keeper, then there will have to be a sort of coercing us to say, well, we don't live on this island alone. We have neighbors. You can't throw your bottles out the window. I mean, when I drive up my area and see the number of bottles on the side of the road that people have thrown out of vans, if a person got tough on that, I wouldn't call it communism.
Well, I wouldn't think it is.
But you see, these are sort of the self things that we have to do. We have to do these things ourselves to prevent our country and our leaders from becoming dictatorial. We have to take certain responsibilities.
Prime Minister Gonsalves says that his policy, really, in terms of, we're talking about communism and socialism and so on, and he's saying that he's very much for private enterprise, but you cannot put aside the role of the state. In an economy and an island this size, you cannot put
At
aside.
this moment, it would be difficult because the imbalance is so big that if you would allow the few to dominate the many, then it, you know, but you have to find a way of allowing people freedom of expression, freedom of thought.
But doesn't that obtain now?
It does in a way, but you cannot sell people the idea of people coming in, and you know this has been the problem in the past. The people who have made money have been coming in from outside and getting tax-free this and tax-free that and tax-free the other. But you want to see a group of responsible young men. I'm hoping Luke and his brothers would get together and be responsible in their thinking. I mean, I've got to the stage now where I am looking at taking it easy and relaxing, but I would like to see some young people, the airport bring new opportunities for them to show their talent. One of the things that really pleased me in Taiwan, in their big national day with all this military parade, the schools were having floats. And you know, 90% of the music playing was rap.
Okay.
And tears came to my eye when they did Arrow's Hot, 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 because he had just recently
just
died.
passed away.
So we have some talent. We have some things that the world wants. We are not being given enough space to develop it. We're not, our young people are not being given, I mean, without an international airport, we're not exposed. We're not, we have to go to Mustique, to the manager's cocktail party to play a piano once a week or something. So we need to bring a lot more.
In wrapping up this segment of the program, you are saying that an international airport is a critical project for the development of the economy and for the people.
And the winner is who could get it done without leaving too much burden on future generations.
You're looking at Unrendered. My guest is businessman Ken Boyea. More when we come back in the final segment.